Today we'll be going for a little drive in my 600 horsepower mom car, my grocery getter. Type of car you take to Trader Joe's on a Sunday afternoon so you can wait in line for 5 hours and get your groceries for 15% cheaper than you could at a normal store because it's cool, you know. No, I love Trader Joe's. But anyways, here it is, right behind me. It's a 2020 X3M competition. We got a stage 2 ECU tune on it, some front mount intakes, a downpipe, you know. Tuning a downpipe. It's a BMW. What do you expect? First thing you probably notice when you see this car is how filthy it is. See that car back there? Circled around maybe 15 times already. What they're doing, I don't know. But yeah, this car is disgusting. Snowed a few times, rained a few times. This really is disgusting. Like, I should be embarrassed to drive this thing around, but you know, I spent all my money on the car, so I can't really afford a car wash, so what can you do? So you can get a better look at the intake. It runs along there, but it's not bad. The intake sounds great, but I had to get a loan to afford it. So anyways, gonna be switching to a POV camera for the drive. Just gonna go for a little cruise, nothing crazy. But other than the fact that it's filthy, it is a pretty good looking car. You know, I can't lie. As far as mom cars go, the X3M is probably the best. It's like, you know, when you can't afford an X5 and you could barely afford an M, you go for an X3M. And really you don't need anything else. These cars sound great, they're fast, they're far from comfortable, but listen, you're buying an M, not an S-Class. So do you really care? No, you don't. Now for the inside of the car, I got the two-tone yellow and black interior. I actually really like it. It's got the Alcantara on the sides of the seats. Let me open the door. It's pretty disgusting on the inside as well, but hey, we got carbon, and that's all that matters. I switched out the trim in the middle. We got a little Alcantara. It's a little worn out, but for the carbon piece, typical silver you get here, I switched it out. We got oh wow, this really is, it's just gross. It's gross, but we got carbon, so who cares? We got Alcantara here and here. I think that's it. Of course, on the other seats, the steering wheel, and that's about it. Now, this is the camera we're going to be using for the POV shots, DJI Action 4. I just got this yesterday, and it's already disgusting. Like, look at those fingerprints. I really have a problem. But anyways, let's switch over to it, shall we? Okay, now, time for the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's go for a little drive. As you can see, there is a stark contrast between my windshield and the side mirrors. Well, I don't have tint on my windshield at the moment. I had tint, but I cracked the windshield, so I had to replace it. Luckily, I could afford to replace the windshield, but unfortunately, I couldn't afford to tint it, so. But yeah, I mean, the car rides. How does it ride? Horribly. It's not comfortable at all. It handles great though. I will give it that. See, I probably see this little range, 29 miles, please refuel, more than I see myself. It's expected at this point. The fuel economy is horrible on this car. But then again, you're buying an M. Do you care? No. No, you don't. You just hope you have enough money to fill it up next week. Or, really, in an hour. Oh, look at that. The range went up. Now that I love, when you gain gas, you know, because typically it's always going down, 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 but some, okay, well, they went back down. I got the sports displays over here. It shows the torque and the power, but you could probably barely see it because of how much dust is on it. I could barely see it, so I can only imagine how you guys see it. We use our blinkers. We may be in a BMW, but that doesn't mean we have to be a beamer head, you know? I always use my blinker. Well, see, I'm not a fan of like New York City and the Belt Parkway synonymous. People just cutting up, you know, like no hezzy or like Team Max Sauce. It's not really my thing. But I'm not like one of these idiots that just phew, you know? And, you know, I could, because I'm in a car that's made for speeding. I'm not in some G37 or some Q50 or in a Accord that has like brakes this big. and I'm trying to go 100 miles an hour in standstill traffic, and then I get surprised when I get into an accident because my car can't stop in time, you know? But I'm still not an idiot, you know? We love our cars. We love speeding. We love doing fun things in them. But responsible recklessness. Okay, let me get around this guy. But you also encounter a lot of idiots on these roads, especially Sundays. Oh my God, Sunday drivers are the worst. Like this little GTI. This is the guy that sent it sideways on the corner. I used to love Golfs. I mean, not used to. I still like them. They're great cars. But then I realized I'm not gay, so. See, we always use our blinkers. This car really does sound great. It is a nice car. Like, it's the perfect package. It's small enough to handle great and not feel like you're gonna flip when you're going 60 or 80 around a corner. It's fast enough to beat most cars, especially with a stage 2 tune, downpipe and a tune, downpipe and a tune, the downpipe and a tune. Probably wouldn't take a Huracan, but it would be close, surprisingly close. You know, I'm an AMG guy. My first car was a CLS 63, and I adored that thing, and I still do. But, I mean, these new BMWs, this S58 motor is absolutely absurd. What you could do, what you can get out of these engines, oh, the downpipe and a tune. And for a 6-cylinder car, it sounds great. I mean, it just sounds so good. And it's so fast, too. Sometimes, I don't speed often, especially because half the year my car is broken, so I can't speed. I mean, it's broken now. Not really. It's a few issues, nothing major, but I don't speed often, you know. But when I do, I realize that I'm in a rocket. It's like, you really forget what this car is capable of because it has that. You know, you could just drive it normally at the end of the traffic. Let's get off of here. Let's get back on the highway over here. Don't get me wrong, I'd take an X5M over this any day. But, you know, I also can't afford it. But it just sounds so nice. And it drives great. It's like, when I'm driving slowly, I think the car's broken and falling apart. But as soon as you put your foot to the floor, everything feels perfect. It's like there's not a single thing wrong with the car. And I mean, that's what they're made for, you know? You're not getting this to stay in first, second, or even third gear. You're taking this all the way to 6, 7. That's when it really shows what it's capable of. Of course, we're in a bit of traffic. Okay, shut up, shut up, shut up! Apologize for the shakiness. It's like there's no suspension. It's just iron rods holding up the car. So you feel literally everything. But I am thinking of lowering the car if I can somehow come across the funds to afford it. Okay, come on, like, all right. When you're entering the highway at 20 miles an hour, like, come on, do you not? It's common sense. 30 miles an hour entering the highway. Yeah, let's enter the highway on half the speed limit because that's safe. That's reasonable. Yeah, let me do that. I mean, it wasn't even this guy's fault. It was more so this guy. And that's also another thing. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me who thinks this way, but people don't understand that I'm not always honking at you. You know, if there's somebody slow in front of you and I'm honking, I'm probably honking at that person, not at you, you know, because it's not your fault. But you're not honking, so I'm going to honk. You know, somebody's got to do something. Ahead of this guy. See, sometimes I'll do something like this because, I mean, why are you driving so slowly? You got all this space, and you want to drive 10 under the speed limit. You got all this space in front of you. You're driving your big truck. Oh, I got my big truck. Shut up, bro. He wants to high beam me. We got a little Subaru. Phew! And then up here. Everybody loves being in the left lane. Like, why? What's the... Everybody driving so slow. Now, I don't like driving too fast on these roads because these roads are atrocious, and it's probably life-threatening to be going over 100, 110 on these roads with no cars. So imagine how dangerous it probably is with cars. 14 miles! I just ate up. Yeah, this thing sounds great. It's not comfortable, but it's just fine. And it's enjoyable. This Prius. Like in comfort, it still pushes, It's not as loud, too. But then you go into Sport Plus, and then it's like... I'd highly recommend this car to anybody who just needs a daily, like, you don't need a huge SUV, but you also don't really like sedans. This thing's like a little rocket, It's like an obese go-kart. Not obese. I wouldn't say obese. Maybe like a little chunky, slight. Come on, wake up. Like slightly overweight, It's like you still would. Like it's not fat enough where it's like you wouldn't. You still would, but it's got a little mass. That's how I would describe this car. Kings Plaza, probably the worst mall in existence over here. If you've been here, Nah, it's all right. They got Auntie Anne's, so if you got an Auntie Anne's in the mall, then I love the mall. I probably go to the mall more so for Auntie Anne's than I go for anything else. It's just it's like, those pretzels are perfect, man. And the lemonade, my mouth is watering just thinking about it, I love Auntie Anne's. Let's go.